When we say grow with Gray, we mean Gray gets you where you want to go. With more than 100 markets and top-rated stations from coast to coast, you will find the perfect fit. Cover the nation's biggest events, create award-winning content, and tell stories that matter to your community. Gray invests in investigative journalism, a culture of asking questions and finding solutions. Gray's growth-focused, customized training is designed to help you succeed and get you to the next level. Gray knows you deserve the best benefits in the business. Seriously. And bosses who understand work-life balance. So get noticed, get going, and start growing. Grow with Gray.
That's right, Grow with Gray. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gray's first Kickstart Your Sales Career event. My name is Christina Wilson, and I'm a sales recruiter at Gray. We'll be recording this session and posting it on our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to find it there, and feel free to share it with friends. I'll drop a link in the chat. We plan to do these events monthly, and we'll touch base on different topics. So be on the lookout for future events, and you can sign up for those at grayishiring.com. Today, I'm joined by Jennifer Dale and Stephen Cruz, my partners in crime here in the recruiting department at Gray. Jennifer is our VP of recruiting. She'll be monitoring the chat, so drop your questions in there, and we'll do our best to get all those answered. I'm also delighted to have Alan Chapman and Whitney Feather from WCJB in Gainesville, Florida with us today. Alan is the general manager and general sales manager of the station, and Whitney is one of his rock star sales account executives. Welcome, Alan and Whitney. Let's start by having you both tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Go ahead, Whitney.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Whitney Feather, and I am a multimedia marketing consultant, also known as an account executive for WCJB TV 20 in Gainesville. My degree is actually in public relations. I have a bachelor's in public relations with a minor in business. And my background is actually in tourism marketing and event planning.
Interesting.
Hello, all. My name is Alan Chapman. I am the general sales manager / general sales manager at WCJB TV 20 in Gainesville, Florida. I have been here at the station. I'm in my 30th year at the station, served in the general sales manager's role, local sales manager, general sales manager for 23 years, and now general manager for about a little over 7 when Gray bought our stations about a little over 7 years ago. Started years ago coming out of the University of Florida, came here to play baseball and got a degree in advertising and marketing, and when the baseball career didn't work out, decided to go, thanks to an internship here at the television station in sales, got into this wonderful world of television advertising sales, and spent 3 years here, went into the radio station business, was a partner at a very young age for 10 years, and decided to get out of that, get back into television. That was 30 years ago. So been in this business for, gosh, 43 years, still in it, still love it, especially now that we're with Gray, best 7 years of my career.
Love it. Love that story. Thanks for sharing. So first, I wanted to share a little bit of information about Gray in case anyone on the call is not familiar. So not to brag, but we're kind of a big deal. So Gray owns the most top-rated television stations and digital assets in the country. We own stations in 113 markets in 39 states, and we have a bureau in Washington, D.C. Collectively, Gray reaches, I believe it's 36% of the U.S. households. And when it comes to our digital assets, sky is the limit. So what does this mean for you? Great opportunities for upward mobility, and an incredible amount of support from a company that really cares about their employees. All right, let's move on to the next slide. I want to talk a little bit about our benefits as well before we really get into the discussion. So Gray offers an $18 per hour minimum wage. Obviously, with sales, you can expect to make more than that, but I think it's important to note that Gray takes care of all of their employees, even those in an entry-level position. We also have a free healthcare option for our employees, and we offer a 5% 401k match. If you're a student, sometimes you don't think about those type of benefits, but when you turn 26 and you have to provide your own healthcare, you'll realize that's really expensive, and that's a wonderful benefit. And same goes with the retirement. I know me, I don't want to work until I'm 70 and I want to retire well. So that free money from the company is a huge benefit. We also offered paid parental leave for both moms and dads, which is amazing. And we have expanded our paid time off to give you more time. We believe in a work-life balance at Gray, and so that's so important. And then we also have world-class training, so we'll talk a little bit about that later. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. So I talk with a lot of students who have misconceptions about what our salespeople do. Many think of used car sales when I first speak with them. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not really what we do at Gray. Whitney, I'd love for you to kind of share more about what you do in your role.
Absolutely. So yes, with an account executive role, you actually get to wear a lot of different hats. You are going to be the consultant for your client, and that means you're going to make recommendations to them for their marketing plan. You're going to create proposals and pitch creative ideas and recommendations to them. You're really building a relationship. I very rarely actually use the term sales when I describe my job or when I'm introducing myself. It's more along the lines of business development and helping a business grow. You are helping them with all aspects of their business growth. You also get to use things like PowerPoint and Canva. We also have something called Waymark, where we get to create sample stock videos to show clients during pitches. And really, the sky is the limit. You can be as creative as you want to be. You also need to be organized and be able to work well with budgets also.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And Alan, I was talking to him the other day, and he said that, you know, in this role, you're really like, this is your own business, and you can make it what you want it to be. So Alan, can you tell them about that? Because I thought that was the coolest thing.
Well, absolutely. Christina, and Whitney will attest to this, and we basically coach and teach and train our account executives to, when you develop relationship with your clients, one of my theories is, do they know you? Do they like you? Do they trust you? That's who they buy from. You kind of create, when you develop accounts and you have account lists that you may inherit, and you develop new business, you're going in and you're representing the station and yourself to help that client build their business. That's what you're there for, to be a partnership and create that partnership. So in essence, you are your own business. You control your own destiny, and how you develop that and what you do for clients, they'll rely on you for everything. Sometimes we hear students, I used to speak at the university about wanting to go into the ad agency business. Well, in essence, they don't need an ad agency. They have you. You become the go-to. You become the expert in the field that's going to help them with all their advertising needs. We're in the video business, not just television. It's streaming. It's digital, all digital streams. We have a digital platform, Gray Digital Media, which supports all of our television stations. So we're in this, we're selling digital, we're selling linear television, We have so many different streams and networks now that we sell, but really you're developing your own business with the client portfolio list that you have. And that's a great place to be, especially from a marketing standpoint, advertising standpoints, and the relationships that you build in our industry.
Yes. And I'm so glad you touched on that because, I travel a lot in my job, so I can't always sit down at night and watch the local news. So, I'm constantly on, a news app, getting my news there, and, on social media, YouTube. I'm kind of a true crime junkie. So, I'm watching those shows on YouTube, and there's always that, it gets to the good part of the video and then cuts to that commercial. And I tell people, those annoying commercials, we do that, we get right in there with that, so we can be where all the people are. And I think that's so important to understand that TV is a wonderful asset, but we are literally everywhere where people are. So thank you so much for sharing that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. All right. So getting started with Gray. So let's talk a little bit about internships. We at Gray, we offer paid internships. These are not go get us coffee type of internships. They provide real world hands-on experience. They're normally 8 to 12 weeks, and we do them year round. While each station handles our internships a little differently, normally you're able to sit in on sales meeting, go out on calls with account executives and meet with clients. You can help put together sales presentations. And another wonderful thing about our internships is that they often lead to full-time positions at the station, as all of our interns are given first consideration. So if you're interested in an internship, you can check out more details and apply at gray.tv/internships. And I will
Christina?
drop that.
Hey,
Yeah.
Christina. So
Yeah.
I'm an example of an internship 43 years ago. Did not
Yes.
know what I wanted to do, and just happened to get the internship. I went into advertising because I didn't want to take any math. So I ended up in the advertising, and fortunately I had that to fall back on when my baseball career ended. But having that internship said, wow, this is not what I expected it to be. This looks like fun, and I could make a lot of money. So, there's a good place to start. A lot of times when you come out of school, you have no idea what you want to do. But and people think of sales, like you said, sometimes in the used car format, and that's not the case whatsoever. It's a partnership developing, helping businesses grow, but an internship is a great way to start if you're not sure.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and move on. I think we're going to talk about our Gray talent pool. Yes, so this is a fantastic tool that we use at Gray. It's a great way to be noticed by our hiring managers. So you'll upload your resume, list your job and the job that you're seeking. You can choose from all of our 113 locations and your date of availability. And once you submit that and that's approved, your profile will be pushed out to hiring managers in 113 markets nationwide. It's kind of amazing. People don't know what to expect, but I've had people come back and say, "You're right, Christina. This is amazing. I submitted it and I was reached out to by 6 managers in one day." So this is definitely a wonderful tool for looking for a job. Can you go to the next slide and we'll pop up the QR code, so you can scan this to go to the page, or you can also go to grayishiring.com and get your profile filled out. And I'm going to drop that in the link in the chat also. Yes, we hired 296 people from the Gray talent pool so far in 2023. That is pretty awesome. It's amazing. All right, we've kind of gotten the business part out of the way. So Alan and Whitney, now it's time for some real talk. I'd love to hear from you. What do you believe is essential to being successful in a career in media sales or as an account executive?
Rock stars first.
Well, I would say that it's definitely very important that you are a motivated and driven individual. Being a little competitive is also helpful as we are out there competing against other different media companies and agencies. But we honestly have the best products to offer, and we can do everything that is needed for a full funnel marketing approach. Everything from broadcast to streaming television to targeted email campaigns and geofencing. We really do have everything that it takes to help a business grow. So being motivated, competitive, and then also just having a positive personality and being able to be patient with people because you will come across different personalities. So that is definitely key as well.
Absolutely.
What I would say as when we look, as we did with Whitney, when I'm looking for AEs, I'm looking for individuals who want to make money. Frankly, if you want to be in sales, you can say, I want to be in marketing. I don't want to be in sales. I want to be in PR. I don't want to be in sales. Listen, PR and marketing, every company you represent, you're in sales. I have news for you. We're always selling what your company does to help the companies that you do business with or your future customers. So, sales is like, it's like what you're trying to do to get a degree in school. What do? You have to have determination, you have to have discipline, and you have to meet deadlines. I got news for you. Regardless of what field you're in, you're going to go through those stages your whole life when you're in the workforce. So
That's right.
The more coachable you are, we're here to train you. If you come in with a positive attitude, I always say it takes zero talent to hustle. And when you out hustle everybody, you're going to win a lot more than you lose. But the difference in coming in the sales world is the best part of, or the worst part of our job is the job's never finished. The best part of our job is the job's never finished because you always have something new to do, which makes it exciting. So your days are never boring and they go fast.
That's right.
It's the difference in going after a PR or marketing or working at an agency. You may get your 2 or 3% raises. I don't know what your benefits might be like. If you want to raise in sales, go sell something else. We pay, we have a great pay plan. When you come out of school, do you want to make $40,000 or $50,000 or do you want to make 6 figures? It's up to you. The opportunities here, we don't put caps on anyone. We want people who want to go and represent the station and help us help clients grow and create relationships and partnerships. And if you do that, everybody's rewarded. You are, the client is, and the station is. It's a win-win-win. I've been in sales my whole life. I've never been on the camera side. I have a face and voice for radio. So, but I've always enjoyed the sales process because I don't look at it as selling someone something. I look at it as building partnerships and relationships. And when you help people help their businesses grow, it's very simple. They rely on you, and the relationships you create are awesome.
Alan, you are so wise. Everything you say, I just soak in. So from experience, I worked at an ad agency right out of school for 10 years. And I will tell you, I left because I wasn't making good money. I did have health insurance, but I didn't have maternity coverage. So the benefits were very lacking. I didn't have a 401k, and frankly, I loved what I did, but being with a big company that can actually value you and take care of you is so important. And it really is the same job. You're doing the same job here as you do at an agency. So that was great. And then Alan, you touched on training a little bit, and I really wanted to kind of talk about that because at the station level, I know you work wonders with your new account executives. And then we also have a whole team of corporate trainers at Gray. So I didn't know if Alan or Whitney, you've gone through that. Do you guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. I'll let Whitney go because she's been through the training. We brought her in. Whitney had sold before, something different. That's where I go into, we bring in good people. We'll teach you the product. You have to be coachable. And Whitney's an example of, before I let her say that, just an example of Whitney was a tough hire because she was fairly comfortable with what she was doing. And we had to convince her she was going to make a lot more money. And I will say this with Whitney, the first year, she made twice as much money as we had guaranteed her. So Whitney, you want to touch on training? She on mute?
I think we lost her. Well, I can talk a little bit about the corporate training.
Okay.
So starting off, all of our new account executives, they'll go through kind of like 2 weeks of online training that our executive trainers have prepared. And that it's really good. It's in depth. It's not like the boring training videos that a lot of places have. Everything is real world, and is very helpful. And then you'll also work with the station managers and things like that with your local sales manager and digital sales manager. But then we actually send you to Charlotte for a week for in-person training there as well. And again, that's fabulous. Our team is basically some of the best in our business. They formed a team and put together this training, and you'll go through, real world scenarios where you'll, kind of play off of each other and learn things. And one thing I really love about that also is that you're going with other new salespeople to Gray. So you kind of start to build a community throughout the entire country where you can reach out to those folks that you've met and, toss ideas off of each other. So not only do you have that wonderful training at the station level, but you also have a whole team of support throughout the country.
Well, and Christina, that's a good point. When we hire someone, they're with our managers and going out with the other AEs. Generally, we do that for at least 6 weeks before we send them to Charlotte, because then they're familiarized. And when they go up there, and they take some courses here before they go up, but it's an extensive training program to make sure that when you go out, you're comfortable enough to feel like you know the product well enough and you've seen it in action. So we get you very prepared. We don't throw you to the wolves like I was thrown to the wolves when I started. It was, hey, great, we're glad you're here. Here's a yellow page book. Go get them, Tiger. It's changed a lot since then. And this is the best training I've ever been a part of in the 43 years I've been in this business.
Absolutely. So I think we might have lost Whitney, and it's a bummer because I wanted to ask her a few questions. But Alan, you are a wealth of knowledge, so I know you can help. So I always like to have real talk with people again. So what would you say is the hardest part of the job? I know for me, starting out in sales, it was hard to hear no from people and not take it personally. So what do you think it is?
I think definitely it's when you hear no and being able to accept that rejection. I think we got Whitney back. So, but I would say that's a big part of it. Now I'll kind of let Whitney go and what she's been through. But I think Whitney, what's the hardest part of the job was the question. So maybe you want to take it.
I will, and I'm gonna fill in just a little bit on the training too, because I know you guys were talking about that. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. So the main thing I want to say about the Gray training is that I have been through training programs with other organizations, and they are nothing compared to what Gray has to offer. I was absolutely blown away by the level of training that the Gray trainers offer, as well as the online resources that we're provided on a regular basis. And then as far as what the most challenging part of the job is, that would probably be just after you've been seasoned and you're doing the job for a little while. The process with closing new business does take a little bit longer, and so you do have to be patient. But the good thing about that is when the process takes longer, it's usually because you are pitching a larger client, which means a larger investment, and therefore it is very rewarding for you financially once those closes do happen. They are well worth the extra time and effort.
Yes, I love that. One thing I kind of talk about sometimes with people that are like, I'm scared to go talk to people and hear no. And that's what I always say, whenever someone would tell me no starting off, they'd look at me and think, oh, you're young and dumb and don't know what you're talking about. And so I would kind of take that as a challenge. And
Yeah.
I would go back the next month and be like, hi, I'm back, and kind of keep going back. And what I will say about those people and kind of building that relationship, it might take a little bit of time to get in or to get the sale, but it is so rewarding whenever, you do get that. And those people that, are harder maybe to sell on something, they're the ones that often tend to be the most loyal, and they stick with you, so
That's
yeah.
right.
Christina, along those lines, I would relate to the students, right now, when you talk about that, Whitney can attest, are you more successful when you prepare, plan, and study really extensively for a test?
That's right.
Or are you more prepared when you go in and just take the test and try to wing it? It's the same thing in what we do. You prepare, you study the client, you look at their competitors, you do a whole analysis of what do they need? Are they spending money? Do they have budgets? We teach you all of that. And what we're trying to do is minimize the no's. And as Whitney said, minimize the length of time to get them to accept a proposal. But it's, there's everything. You have to have some patience, but you have to really have some preparation.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, our time is almost up. So if anyone has any questions, please drop them in the chat so that Alan and Whitney can answer those for you. I'm going to drop a couple more links in the chat too. If you want to schedule a one-on-one with me or view our jobs or anything like that, I'll drop those links in the chat. And while we're kind of waiting for questions to come in, I'd love to hear just what is the most rewarding part of what you do?
I'll take that. So definitely the fact that you really can grow as much as you want to. In the past, I have, left different jobs because I've kind of reached my potential and there was no more opportunity for growth. At Gray, that is never going to happen. There's always room for growth, and that means in the financial area as well. I have been very pleased with the opportunities for growth and increasing the amount of money that I make each year. It really is very rewarding in many ways.
I would say, obviously, I've done this my whole life, and I continue. I would say the last 7 years. You go through ups and downs, but the last 7 years have been the best. And what I try to do is, just as Whitney would say, is our company cares so much about the employees. I care about the culture in our building. I care about our employees and especially our salespeople doing well and making as much money and providing for them and their families as they can. And everything that we can do, I get the most satisfaction out of helping clients grow and helping our employees grow. And if we're continuing to do that and making it a place where people don't want to leave, that's very, very rewarding for me personally.
I love that. Chris, I saw your message in the chat. Yeah, definitely reach out to me and let's have a conversation. Yeah, college is not required for this position. We do look for people with, you know, hopefully some B2B sales, some outside sales experience, something like that. But again, let's talk and see what we can come up with.
And it's also, just as a closing for me, Christina, is Gainesville's a beautiful place and it's sunny Florida, and we do have an opening.
Work with the best, Alan and Whitney. They're amazing. Yes. All right. Well, if there aren't any more questions, we will go ahead and end this. But again, you can view this again on YouTube. Feel free to reach out, sign up for the Great Talent Pool. Yeah, do all the things, and we will hopefully see you back here next month. I will drop it in the chat again. There is my email address. Cool. All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Thanks for participating.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.